call this regular meeting to order. Call roll.
Mayor Querom.
Here.
Councilmember Swanson.
Here.
Mabry.
Here.
Gomez.
Here.
Newman.
Here. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, to start off tonight on public comment, we have a presentation by the Pedestrian Bicycle Commission. So, I'm going to step up to the. Just need your name.
I'm Rachel.
Yeah, is it coming now? Now I broke this. Oh, here. Good evening. I'm Annette Schnabel. I'm the chair of the commission.
I'm Brian Church. I am secretary of the Pedestrian and Bicycle Commission.
And we have two additional members in our audience with us as well.
Luann Elliott is with us, and Matt May,
And Matt, vice chair.
vice chair. Council or commission members not with us tonight are Angie Thompson and Danielle Slutsky. So we have been in existence for a couple of years, right? 2 years now. And we thought it would be timely to just bring to the council kind of a little bit of an update on what we've been doing and what we've accomplished up to this point. We do meet once a month. We meet usually the first or second Wednesday of the month, and we try to be flexible to everyone's schedule. But we do have a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation for you, but just to give you an idea of what we've accomplished up to this point is we have hosted 2 bike youth rodeos in cooperation with the hospital, Prairie Memorial Hospital, and Princeton Police Department and the University of Illinois Extension Office. Those are basically bike safety activities for youth, and we've had anywhere from 18 to 30 students, young kids, sign up for that. So those were really enjoyable for us. To get out and try to teach young people how to ride bikes safely. Last winter, we hosted a Cycling 101 workshop for women. We targeted women in particular because that's one of the largest growing segments of the cycling community. So again, that was just introducing cycling to women. We brought down from Mead's Bike Shop in Sterling, Illinois, Bryce and Marcy Mead, who put the workshop on for us. It was lasted about an hour, very well received, and we hope to do something like that again probably in the spring. As you see, our third point there is that we drafted our first comprehensive bike plan for the city, which you folks approved back in May, and we enlisted the support of Ed Barsati, who is a nationally recognized bicycle advocate, to help with the construction of that plan. And I have to say that Ed, his input was instrumental in making this bike plan what it is for our community. Tonight we're going to get more specific about our walkability study that was completed. That was again initiated by Prairie Memorial Hospital and Annette. So we'll go into some details there. It was a very eye-opening experience, I think, for everyone involved. It was really an interesting endeavor. In the spring, what we have in place would be a little free library bike tour, and we're very fortunate in our community to have a number of little free libraries. What we'd like to plan is a day where we have parents and children go from library, our little free library, in the community where it's all mapped out. Angie Thompson is going to take the lead on this. There'll be passports in there and stamps and things that I really don't understand about stamping and making sure you're there. But we want to get that out. We'd like to maybe either start at, we're not sure yet, we'd like to start at Zering Park or the possibility of having starting and finishing at the bike shop. And we've had Rick Brooks' bike place in the community. And lastly, we've collaborated with the Bike Commission has collaborated with the Arts Commission on the placement of the bike racks that we hope to have in the community here, if not this fall yet, sometime in the spring, but there is a plan for that in place.
Yeah, Cindy Olson with the Arts Commission works with Compeer Financial, and she was able to obtain a grant that would be able to assist us for those placements. So we're still finalizing those placements, and then we'll bring that to you for awareness, but it won't be a cost to the city for us to do those.
So, it's my textbook. So,
So that was, oh, is it on?
on one? There we go.
Down button.
So tell you just a little bit about the walkability study that we did. We actually, and we had done one a couple of years ago where we had the children from the Met Center, from the summer camp, do the walkability study for us. And we had turned that in, and that led some of the sidewalk repairs that were done last year. So this year, Mike Morana, who's a frequent walker in our community, took up the work for us and walked 7 different primary streets that are actually part of the bike pedestrian plan, and identified what was good about our sidewalks, where was challenges, and what kind of things do we want to do. So these are the streets that he walked: Central Avenue, Gossey to 5th, Church, Central to Thompson, Clark, Epperson to Euclid, First, Farnham to Boyd, Gossey Central to Park, Main Street, Bryant, Woods to Railroad Avenue, and Vernon, Farnham to Elm. So this is a picture of one that is actually in good shape. This is an example of what we like to see our sidewalks look like. You have handicap accessibility on going both directions. You'll see the truncated domes, which we all learned names of during this process. But basically, it's a clean, open sidewalk that's accessible. Here's another example of a positive one that we are happy to see. Here, however, is one where there are some challenges, and what you're going to see is a couple of different types of challenges. On this particular one, we see grass encroaching on the sidewalk. You'll see it on several of them where it's cutting in from the sides, plus in multiple cracks. And we can talk about whose responsibility that is. We understand that to be the owner's responsibility, but how can we assist or work with you to get some enforcement on those? And then you'll also notice transitions as well. So there's another example of the grass encroaching onto it, and that actually does a couple of things. It retains water when it rains, so the sidewalks actually are more unsafe, as well as it leads to more damage of the existing sidewalk. There's another where we actually have handicap accessible coming from one way, but there's not a sidewalk going the other way, and then we have water being retained as the person comes off the sidewalk. This is just an absence of a sidewalk in this particular one. And then another one where, again, you're seeing the grass encroaching. We don't have the correct handicap accessibility without the truncated domes being present. Here we have actual steps onto the sidewalk, as well as lots of grass encroachment, etc. on this one. Well, lots of cracks in this one and grass encroaching. This one we actually even see a bush from the neighbors encroaching on. Again, absence of sidewalks, more absence of sidewalks, and water along the roadways, which again causes for people not to walk even on those areas. Again, partially good, but does not have the truncated domes and doesn't go on the other direction. Being more where we have the grass encroachment. We even have apples. We have to include some different things on these apples. And grass on the sidewalk. Again, some where it's missing on sidewalk. More missing sidewalk. And then, again, lots of encroachment onto the sidewalk. Again, talking about what's the homeowner's responsibility. You'll see again here where you got these cracks that are going in from the sidewalk, the driveways, etc. Big chunk out of the sidewalk, and this one actually needs immediate repair. No handicap ramp off that one. This one has big logs on it. Missing sidewalk, no curb. We got a partial sidewalk, didn't end up all the way the direction. The driveway was wet and full of water. Again, more cracks, grass, etc. And then this is up down in Main by where second story is. We have more steps on there. Lots of grass coming onto where it's the homeowner's responsibility. So you can see we got a couple of different things that we see. Like I said, just taking care of what does grass need to be. How should that be handled? How can we manage that? What's our role to enforce that? What can we do to get that motivated within our community? And then what can we do to fix some of these sidewalks that have lots and lots of cracks in them?
And I'd like to add that we have Councilman Mabry attends our meetings on a regular basis. Last month we invited the superintendent of the streets forum, who was here at our meeting. There was a lot of very good dialogue between what we have shared. We're not pointing fingers at anybody or, trying to point out shortfalls. It was an assessment and awareness. And, are there ordinances in place that can be enforced? What mechanisms do we need to have in place to remind homeowners that it is their responsibility, all that overgrown grass that makes trip hazards and increases liability, and just basically makes it safer for our pedestrians who are taking advantage of nice weather, or we have walkers all winter. You've got snow removal issues, that type of thing. So that was where the purpose of this particular presentation.
There's obviously cost to getting some of this repair done, and this past year Rachel did the work, but we got a grant for $25,000 to complete the sidewalk to the library, and we're working on getting that done and identifying exactly how much space will get completed with that. So as soon as that funds come in, we'll try to get that one completed. So that would be another success we feel that we can identify towards the improvement of walkability.
And we have a twofold process here that we're looking for as far as the bike plan is concerned. We've met with Clint and Rachel and Commissioner Mabry, and we're looking yet in this fall to place some signage on designated areas of part of the bike plan, and we'll work with Clint on that. We've contacted we have the IDOT contact out of Ottawa who's working with Clint as far as meeting the regulations for placement and what's legal, what's appropriate, what's encroaching, that type of thing. So we hope to have some signage in place this fall yet, just basically to increase the awareness of motorists that it is legal for bicycles to be on the road. 3 feet, that's now state statute. And also in the spring, we hope to partner with, again, the streets in the city with some effort to get some of our striping, and they're called sharrows. Those are the bike arrows that you'll see on pavements. But we hope to accomplish that sometime in the spring. So if you really want to see it locally, see a really proactive community with regard to pedestrian and cycling, you really don't have to go much further than Ottawa. They've done a really nice job with making their city pedestrian friendly and bike friendly, and that's ultimately our charge, is to do the same type of thing. So, and we do have a Facebook page, Bike and Walk Princeton, Illinois. So hopefully after tonight we'll have 100 followers. And we do post articles there. We try to make announcements here, that kind of thing, to keep the community aware of what's going on. Social media seems to be our best avenue from our commission standpoint. And thanking you for the opportunity to do this type of thing and just kind of give you up to date as far as what we're doing and where we're hoping to go. So, any questions, or I guess can we take questions? Questions, comments, or anything?
Suggestions as far as getting the enforcement of cleaning up the sidewalk?
How do you enforce the grass in the cracks?
That's a question that we have.
No.
It is the homeowner's responsibility to maintain as I understand, homeowner business responsibility to maintain the sidewalks in front of their property. I don't know personally if there are ordinances that the city has that could be enforced. I don't even know if they are enforced.
I would guess that there's probably something in our property maintenance code that addresses this directly.
But some of Clint was very receptive to the damaged slide. We need to get that fixed, kind of thing. So that obviously is important to get addressed immediately. But I think those issues fall on the behest of the city, which seems to be
any sidewalk repair.
Right.
Sidewalk is repair, that's the city's responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think if, obviously with fall now, we're going to see grass dying. Maybe it's an opportunity for us to get that, some of that cleaned up so that we can in the spring maybe repair some more. And also when it comes to snow removal, if we can have that black grass cleaned up, I think snow removal will be easier.
Yeah. We have talked about possibly hosting a day where there's community organizations that might be willing to assist elderly or individuals who can't maybe take care of that, clean up their sidewalks, kind of thing, and make it a community service project to help, with this particular issue if those individuals can't do it themselves. So that's something we'll hope to maybe think about and try to suggest or put out there for a spring cleanup project. So, thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, any further public comment from anyone? Okay, we go on to the approval of minutes to Commissioner Newman.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we approve the minutes from our regular council meeting on Monday, October 7, 2019.
Second.
Motion's been second. Any comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Querom.
Aye. We'll go to City Clerk Nelson for approval of invoices.
In the Department of Accounts and Finances, we have invoices totaling $91,193.50. In the Department of Streets and Public Improvements, we have invoices totaling $105,020.89. In the Department of Public Safety, we have invoices totaling $108,663.37. And in the Department of Public Property and Utilities, we have invoices this period totaling $1,058,663.84. Mayor, all council members present have confirmed their reviews of all invoices and now are submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve the invoices as presented. Second.
Motion's been second. Any comments, corrections? Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Querom.
Aye. Now go to regular business and City Clerk Nelson.
Next on the agenda is actually a substitute to table ordinance O-19-020, revising the city code to prohibit manned aircraft on public grounds.
I'd like to make a motion concerning ordinance number 019-020 to untable this ordinance.
Yeah, right, untable.
Second.
Motion's been second. Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Querom.
Aye.
Okay, so now we have ordinance O-19-020.
I'd like to make a motion, if I could, regarding ordinance 019-20 to table this until our next regularly scheduled meeting in November. Second.
Motion's been second. Call roll.
Let me just mention that the reason we're doing this is because we don't have all the data back from the FAA. So we wanted to have that available before we made a decision on it. So that's what the reason is for this. Okay, so we had some motioned and moved and seconded. Councilmember Swanson?
Yes. Second. Oh,
Motion's been second. Call roll. No.
We got to do this more often. Swanson? Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Mabry?
Aye.
Gomez?
Aye.
Newman?
Aye.
Mayor Querom?
Aye.
Okay, now on to more conventional governance. Ordinance O-19-022. This is a text amendment to the zoning code permitting cannabis adult uses north of I-80 in manufacturing M2 zone districts. This is the first reading. All council members have reviewed this ordinance and it is submitted for disposition.
we approve ordinance O-19-022.
Second.
Motion's been second. I have a comment I'd like to make. Regarding our plan commission, I really appreciate the commitment that volunteers make in serving on our various city committees and commissions. Much of what we do as a city and as a community would not get done without the volunteers. There's a lot of responsibility that goes with the commitment to sit on a committee as decisions they make affect the city as a whole. I've heard from a lot of people in all sorts of formats expressing support for allowing a dispensary to locate here, and for many different reasons. I have also heard from those who do not support a dispensary, although in much lower numbers. Probably the one comment that encapsulates the general feeling in support is from James Ears, who wrote on the following on my Facebook page, and I quote, "I believe the objectors to a marijuana dispensary in town have the best intentions, as did the proponents of prohibition 100 years ago. Only problem is prohibition didn't work because the people wanted alcohol and they got it whether it was illegal or not. The same is true for marijuana. Trying to prohibit it or restrict it won't work either. People want it and they're going to get it one way or the other. Why not get the revenue from it? Let parents handle the moral side of it and let people decide for themselves what they want to put in their bodies." End of quote. As mayor, my responsibility is to lead Princeton forward, to address deficiencies the best we can, to reduce expenses when warranted, and to grow revenue. I have heard from many angry people following the rains we had a few weeks ago, those who got sanitary backup in their basements. I hear from people all the time angry about the fees on our utility bills. The problems we have always comes down to a lack of revenue when wanting to address our town's deficiencies. This marijuana dispensary issue represents new revenue to the city. The initial sales projections from a company interested in locating a dispensary here is $2 million a year. We would receive on the gross sale of the product 1.5% sales tax and, in addition, another 3% tax, a total of 4.5% tax. With this projection, that's $90,000 a year to our general fund, and this is an initial projection. Why anyone would object to these numbers because it involves a dispensary located on the north side of Interstate 80 is puzzling at best. This recommendation before us tonight does not respond to these people's concerns. It's a nail in the coffin for new revenue. I will be voting no on this recommendation because it's unfair, it's unresponsive to city and resident needs, and it's far too limited in its isolated location. Any further comment?
I will be voting for it tonight simply because I felt the majority of the zoning board sent it to us. I think they can still make amendments to it at a further date.
If I could, Mayor, I'm going to continue to vote no. From day one, I've been against the recreational marijuana being sold within the city limits of Princeton. So, with keeping with that, I will be voting no on this zoning.
As far as me, I said I'll be voting no for it, as I've been opposed to the marijuana dispensary here in town. As a matter of fact, over today, I had to actually sign a statement sent to the federal government that stated that we will not, within our health department, because of our grant that we received, which is a federal grant, we will not do anything to have to do with marijuana, either sales, distribution, or anything else, which puts in jeopardy $125,000 for the health department for our mental health grant.
I'm going to be voting no against this ordinance this evening as well. I think that the zoning board was on the right track when they were talking about using the M2 district as well as the M1 district that was proposed last week. The M2 district would work very well for cultivation centers or an infusion center should we get one of those. But as far as a retail location for a dispensary, M2 is not at all appropriate. M1 would be much more appropriate and reasonable. It satisfies all the needs of the community being north of the interstate. It has ready access to Route 26. Utilities are in place. Lots are shovel-ready and ready to go. Where the M2 district, where they would have to buy property, raw property, from either the city or from a farmer, it's just the cost to get a piece of property up and running would be out of reach. So I'm going to vote no for this time.
Any further comment? Okay, call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
No.
Gomez.
Nay.
Newman.
No.
Mayor Querom.
No. So where this leaves us is that this will now go back to the zoning commission for another go at it at their November meeting. And I anticipate that they will come back to the council with another proposal, probably at the second meeting in November.
Ready? Okay. Next item on the agenda is Resolution R-19-034. This is an IDOT resolution stating the appropriations for the Euclid Avenue rebuild project. Mayor, all council members have reviewed this resolution, and it is submitted for disposition.
I move that we approve Resolution R-19-034.
Second.
Motion's been second. Rachel?
So I'll just comment, this, we've been talking about the Euclid Avenue project for a long time. The bond that was taken out for that project, a portion of those bond funds will come from the MFT fund, so IDOT requires this form to approve that. That's what this is.
Any comments? Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Quero.
Aye. Go to the city manager report.
The only item I have is the fire pension report. This is for September of 2019. I don't really have anything to point out in it, but I will mention also that at the next meeting, I should have the actuarial reports for both the fire and police pension as well as the draft tax levy that we'll be voting on. So more information on that at the next meeting. Are there any questions on the pension report? That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Now we'll go to my report and go to an appointment. Jerry?
I move that we appoint Carol Bird to the Planning Commission Board of Zoning Appeals for a 3-year term ending April 30th, 2022.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. She provided us with a little bit of a bio, which I'll share. Carol was a staff librarian for 7 years at Manson Public Library, and during the transition to the new library, prior to that, she was a librarian at IVCC. She's owned and operated Grove Valley Travel Agency in Princeton for 20 years. She's been active in the community over the years and has always been a proponent of retail business growth. Carol is enthusiastic about the efforts to keep Main Street retailing thriving and is enthusiastic about the prospect of participating in planning the next periods of growth in Princeton. Any comments? Motion to second. Call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mabry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Quero.
Aye. Trick or treat hours, October 31st, 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. And I reminded the council a couple of weeks ago that we were to just report on our various committees this week. And Ray Mabry, I know, gets a pass because we had a very good presentation here tonight. But I'm not going to hold you this time either because I forgot to send you a reminder a couple of days ago. So I will give a report. Anybody wants to give a report can give a report. But from the street concert perspective, which is where I attend, we had a successful year. Unfortunately, we had bad weather and for most of it, which was really unfortunate. It was either raining or it was extremely hot, or it just wasn't very nice at all. But we've already striked out, and we have bands that we are looking at. We've already got them chosen for next year, so we hope to get these bands booked here fairly soon. And we're still moving forward on the stage program as well, and trying to purchase a new stage. There'll be more on that coming later. So we meet monthly, so we'll have regular updates.
Mayor, I'll have an update next meeting.
I've got one for tonight. The Library Board of Trustees, just some summary notes from the meetings that I attended. The library is enjoying some cost savings from their new HVAC system that was installed. So that means we're making less money off you in the electric bills, and we're glad that you're saving some money there. The recent blood drive that took place this summer was a huge success. Many thanks to the people of Princeton for participating. It was also a busy summer at the library with their reading program, as well as study rooms and meeting rooms were in high demand. They're always pleased to see this type of activity going on at the library. Plans are in place for a busy fall schedule of events. Volunteers are always needed to help out at the library. It's rewarding work and would be greatly appreciated. And also, from what I understand, there's going to be a new mobile app that's going to be coming out soon for users of the library, where they can use their smartphone for various activities on the library website. So that's a good thing as well. Owen Lovejoy, they're finishing, they have finished installing the cobblestone sidewalk using the bricks from the Euclid Street. Tours are winding down and the homestead will close up for the winter very soon. Some final outdoor cleanup is going to take place around the property. They'll be scheduling some carpentry work as well as painting the building probably in the spring of 2020. Hospital Board of Directors, we've heard from all the key departments who have presented their annual reports to the board. They are very happy with the accomplishments that they've received and have high hopes for improvement yet more in 2020. The new clinic is moving along nicely. It is on schedule and on budget, and a plans to open the first quarter of 2020. Discussions with the hospital and OSF are continuing. Progress is being made with all parties sharing ideas and concerns. A final plan is still a long way off, probably mid-2020. And then finally, I am a member of the Building Improvement Grant Program through the Chamber of Commerce. This grant program is funded by the Chamber through the golf outing every year. And we just approved 7 grants for Main Street improvements. And they include new storefronts, exterior painting, new awnings. All of these are just great additions to our Main Street. And we are very happy to be able to award and make this money available to those folks. So that's all I've got.
For the PAC, which is the Princeton Arts Commission, where we discussed the a bike proposal that was put together by their board, by their chair, and it was sent to DRO for quotes as far as how much it's going to cost. The Rotary is actually funding a rack that's going to be located at Soldiers and Sailors Park. They're still trying to find the location exactly where to put it. Their donations that they've raised for the project was $10,945. The sidewalk was stained by Dave, and the coordination with the city was to go ahead and try to seal it, which was done. So if anybody hasn't taken a walk over there by the project for the Perry Arts Commission for the Mayor of Utah, go take a look at it. Also, they were going to tweak the directional lightings. If you've also been up there at night, they're trying to tweak the lights to be able to go ahead and reflect a little better within the arts project. So they're going to be doing that to see. Also, they were also talking about with the Rotary who want to place a veterans project that they want to do over there in Soldiers and Sailors Park. They're taking a look at it as far as a monument, but right now they're just discussing that as far as what they want to do. And one other thing is that they look forward to actually taking on new potential projects, and the next scheduled meeting is October 23rd at 5.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for the updates. Appreciate it. Did have a request before the meeting. A lot of leaves still on the trees. They might be coming down here with rain that we've got coming in or whatnot. But how long do we usually go for lawn pickup? Is that through November?
Yeah, it is November.
So we're at the end of November, so we'll be fine on that. Okay. Geraldine, is that through the end of November?
I don't have them in my garage for the winter. Don't laugh. 2 years ago, I think it was.
That's all I have. Any old business tonight? Any new business? Any public comment? Yeah, come on. Just need your name.
And make sure the microphone's working. It's very difficult to hear the speakers. Just a reminder, several weeks ago, I brought up the fact that people who are not on Facebook have started signing, and they're continuing to sign. I go into the restaurant, may I sign? And 99% of the people are against having marijuana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further public comment? Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting and to reconvene into executive session and then to reconvene in our regular meeting in 2 weeks.
And I move that we adjourn our regular meeting this evening, reconvene our executive session under Illinois statutes to discuss employment issues, and then reconvene for our next regular council meeting on Monday, November 4th, 2019, 7 o'clock at City Hall.
Second.
Motion and second, call roll.
Councilmember Swanson.
Aye.
Mavry.
Aye.
Gomez.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
Mayor Querio.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.